Laura, thank you. Losing a significant other is one of the hardest things to overcome, but our next guest, eating really good food, was part of that mourning process. So we are joined by Kelly Rizzo, host of her new podcast series, Comfort Food, and creator of Eat, Travel, Rock TV. Thank you so much for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Me. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks.
I love food. And I love podcasts, but I want to talk about the mourning process for you because it's almost been 2 years since your husband, I know, right? Bob Saget passed away. The outpouring of support when that happened, because it was such a shock for so many people because of the impact he had on so many people. What has the last 2 years been like for you, and how did this podcast and how did this direction help you?
Well, because I had to go through this process so publicly, I was benefited in a sense by hearing so many stories and so many different ways to grieve and so many different ways to get through these difficult times. You know, I got to benefit from all of these people from around the world sharing their stories with me. And so after a while, I kind of thought, I've learned, and by no means do I consider myself a grief expert now. However, I learned so much about the process and how to get through it in a certain way. And I wanted to kind of give back and to share what I've learned, but then also have so many guests who have also gone through, it doesn't have to be grief, just some sort of loss, some sort of difficult time in their life that they went through. And how can I have them on to share their process while eating their favorite comfort food to then, you know, make this conversation a little bit more lighthearted.
Well, and I think that also makes people a little more relaxed too. Yeah. Sometimes it's tough to show that side and be vulnerable and show that side of emotion. You have had big names on the show, on the podcast. So talk to me about that process for you and just walk me through some of the episodes.
Yeah, so I've had some incredible guests thus far who have aired, you know, whether it's Katie Couric, who lost her husband at the when she was my age, so about 20 years ago, she lost her husband, and so getting her perspective on it. John Stamos, who is of course one of Bob's best friends, and talking specifically about what it was like to go through the loss of Bob together. I have some amazing episodes coming up this month for the 2-year anniversary of Bob's passing. John Mayer, Jeff Ross, Rabbi Steve Leder, some incredible guests that also were very close to Bob and who also helped me directly go through the grieving process and who helped me get through it. So not everyone is an amazing friend of mine. You know, some people are new people who I just met, but everyone has a really interesting story to tell of just overcoming adversity in their life, and to do that while sharing amazing food.
What is your favorite food?
Anything Italian.
Okay.
So, you know, it can be on the more casual side, like pizza, can be some, you know, more, let's say, a fancy pasta, but anything in that realm is what I love to eat. It's what I love to cook, and it's what I love to share with people. So if I'm having people over, that's what I love to cook for them.
Oh my gosh, can I come over?
Anytime.
That sounds amazing.
But I have not gotten, the nice thing is I haven't had my favorite comfort food yet. Like, I haven't chosen what mine is yet for the show, but most people are picking Italian food. Like Brian Austin Green had lasagna. Jack Osborne was like a bolognese. I've had so many people have like pastas, and so I kind of get to still indulge in my favorite foods, even though it's their favorite food.
Well, it's lunchtime, so now you're making me hungry. What has been the reaction to this podcast, to having these guests on, and offering this platform for other people to listen in and feel like they're not alone?
Well, that's exactly why I wanted to do it, to have these conversations, because grief it's still kind of a taboo topic and people don't like to talk about it. It's, you know, has such a negative, heavy, bummer, sad connotation to it. And so I said, how can I make these conversations a little bit more approachable, a little bit more, dare I say, fun, a little bit more, have a little bit more levity to it,
well, I mean,
and a little bit more, like even some, we throw in some jokes, we throw in some laughs, because that's even what grief is about. It's not all sad all the time. And, you know, that's what I learned from Bob was it's okay to laugh. It's okay to try to look on the bright side and look for the silver linings. And so, you know, that's why I wanted to have these conversations, is to bring a little bit more of just a lightheartedness to the situation, so it makes people want to talk about it more.
Well, and I feel like, and I was going to say that you know, the memories that you have with these people are, for the most part, lovely. They're wonderful. They're good human beings. That's why you miss them. So bringing that fun and bringing that chance to smile and laugh and remember is just so key.
Yeah, and I'm at the point now where, you know, 2 years in, I can now watch videos of Bob and look at photos of him. And of course, there's still tears too, but overwhelmingly, it's much more, I'm able to look at them and laugh and smile and remember the good times versus feeling like it's that gut punch.
You are so strong.
Thank you.
No, you really are.
You know, people say that to you. You never really feel it yourself, but you know, I'm trying. It's always still a journey and still a work in process, but thank you for saying that.
Of course. We also want to talk about the fact that you're the creator of Travel Rock TV. This is a traveling experience, which I think you're like the coolest person to me right now. We got food,
God bless you.
We've got traveling. Tell me about this. Where are we going?
So, oh gosh, let's see. I do so much work lately with Hard Rock Hotels, so I go to a lot of their destinations, which is really fun. I work with a lot of tourism boards. I'm doing some really fun stuff in Florida in March with Florida Tourism. Oh God, I think I'm going back to Japan soon.
Ooh,
so I'm really excited about that. And I also have a Mexico trip in February, so lots to come. And it's really fun to, you know, kind of share the cool way to travel while bringing food, travel, and music together. That's always my favorite goal.
Those are, you're just amazing. Where can everyone find more information so they can reach out to you, so they can listen, so they can find more information about this too?
So everything's on my Instagram at Eat Travel Rock, and for the podcast, just get that anywhere you get your podcasts. It's Comfort Food with Kelly Rizzo, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts.
And if you had one piece of advice for someone who might have lost someone recently, what would you tell them?
I would say to keep your loved ones close. Do everything you can to try to keep this circle open, because a lot of times people want to shut people out. And I've found that community and just having these people, letting them in, is the best thing that you can do. And just, you know, when people say, how can I help? Let them. Even though you might not know what that looks like, just, you know, try to keep those communication lines open.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Kelly
much.
Rizzo, everybody. We're going to put all this up on our website at kcalnews.com/themorningwrap.